Welcome back to the channel. It's been quite a while, but we're back with a good one. Today we're going to be doing a full catback exhaust sponsored by XForce. So we're going to go ahead and throw the car up on the lift and then dive right into the boxes. Let's jump right into unboxing. We got all the piping in this big box. Moving on, we got some hardware and clamps. The tips, these look so good. So I do have a full turbo back system already. I have the Grimspeed J-pipe and then nameless catback. So I'm replacing the nameless catback with the XForce, and I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what it sounds like. Moving on, in this box. So we're in the middle of editing the video, and I don't know why, but one of the clips got deleted. Unfortunately, it was one of the unboxing videos, so I'm just gonna show you quick what was in the box. This awesome hoodie by XForce. Little logo on the back. Awesome hat. Couple stickers, and then it had the mufflers, the Varex controllers, a bunch of wiring, and the smart box. So I don't know what happened to the clips, but I wanted to show you guys this stuff and enjoy the rest of the video. Before we start, in the instructions, they're going to tell you everything that you need. So go ahead and just screenshot that if you'd like. And then also, if you have an access port or something in your OBD that is permanent and it stays there, you're going to want to order an OBD splitter. First things first, we're going to go ahead and take the old exhaust off the car. We're not really going to show it. We'll throw a couple clips in here and there, but pretty self-explanatory. Quick tip when taking the bushings off, lubricate them. It'll make your life way easier. As you can see, we've got the old exhaust off the car. Now it's the fun part. Let's put the new one on. We're gonna take the mid pipe, or the code that they use, SW26C2, and 2 bolts and the bigger gasket, and we're gonna go ahead and attach this to your downpipe. We'll just go ahead and hand tighten these, and then once everything is fitted and we have the tips where we want them sitting out the back of the bumper, then we'll go ahead and tighten everything. Next, the Y pipe, and your sticker is going to be facing down, so it's going to sit like this with your hanger facing up. And then you're going to need your clamp, and we're going to slide that over top of the Y pipe and then connect this to the mid pipe. We've got the mid pipe and the Y pipe loosely fitted onto the car. Now we can move to the mufflers, and they will have an L and an R. So this one's left, that one's right. This faces up, same as the hangers. So I got the muffler hanging by the 2 rubber bushings. Now we can go ahead, take one of the gaskets, 2 bolts, and loosely bolt it to the Y pipe. muffler's on, gasket, and 2 bolts. For the tips, I'm going to throw gloves on just so I can hold the tips and not get fingerprints and oil all over them and then just have to clean it again later. So I'm going to use gloves, makes it easier. These are labeled left and right, easy enough. You can slide on, and then you've got your 2 bolts here just to tighten. So once it's fitted on, you're gonna want to figure out how far out you want them poking and then center them left and right. Then once they're sitting where you want them, you're gonna start tightening everything from the back to the front. So we're gonna start with the tips, then move to the muffler, Y pipe, mid pipe, down pipe, and so on. Now that we have the tips sitting where we want and they're tight, I'm gonna go ahead and start tightening up the mufflers here. Make sure your gasket is centered. As it gets tight, just make sure everything is sitting right where you want it. Okay, I'm gonna do the same on this side. So I've got the tips centered left and right, and I've got a gap. You don't want it touching your bumper or else it's gonna melt it. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and tighten the 6mm Allen bolts so that it's sitting exactly where I want it. And now I'm gonna get a measuring tape and just measure a couple different spots to make sure that both sides are equal. Moving our way back, we can now tighten up this clamp connecting the mid pipe to the Y pipe. You just want to make sure that you have it sitting in a nice spot, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the big part of the clamp hidden up here so it's out of the way. You don't want it necessarily down because you're just going to scrape it on things, so I'm going to put mine up like this. Once you get it tight, you are going to need a deep socket because the bolt sticks out quite a bit. So it's a 16mm. And I don't want that bolt sticking straight down. And again, moving down, we can now connect the J pipe to the mid pipe, tighten it up, get it centered and sitting nice. Good? Yeah. Everything is tight. Now we're gonna go ahead and just torque them all to 80 foot-pounds. To get clearance on this one, you may need to use a swivel. We've got everything tightened, so now we can go ahead and start doing the wiring for the smart box and the valves. What we're going to do is run the wires through the grommet at the bottom here. This one is for my air suspension, my tank drain, and my exhaust. So I'm going to use this grommet here. So I'm just going to drill a hole through this grommet, and then I'm going to feed the 2 wires down that will plug into each muffler. Now we've got a hole, and we can feed the wires through the grommet. So in your wire harness, you have your power. This guy connects to your Varex box. And then these two are the ones that we're going to run through the grommet and plug into each muffler. So then you can just feed it down, and you can pull more if you need. And then this we're going to tuck all up into the trunk, and we'll pull it from the trunk throughout the car. So I zip tied each wire to the frame here, and then zip tied all the excess in the middle, and then it runs from the grommet across. So all the wiring is run on the bottom of the car. Everything's tight. I'm going to go ahead and drop the car so we have access to the wiring that's inside the trunk. Now that the car is on the ground, we can access everything. It's going to be a little bit trickier for me because I have a full air setup, but they'll be underneath the floor under the compressors. So I'm going to try and access those without moving too much of this around, and then hopefully feed it into the cabin of the car. So I found all the wire underneath this false floor here, and now I'm going to run it diagonal into the cabin. Okay, so we've got all the wiring into the cabin of the car now. We just fed it underneath diagonally. So now I'm going to go ahead and run it under all these trim pieces, down the sill into the driver's seat. So I tucked all the wiring through the sill, and it's now coming out right by the fuse panel. So this step is optional, you don't have to do it. I do have a few accessories, and I don't have a free 12 volt anywhere in the car. So what I'm going to do is just chop the wire, and I'm going to use one of these so I can tap into an accessory fuse. So it's basically hardwired, and I don't have to have a 12 volt. So it'll be a power wire, and then the other wire will just be grounded somewhere on the car. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and then we will work on mounting all of this. I don't know where it's going to go, so it's going to take some planning because these boxes are quite big, but we'll find a spot, it'll be hidden, and I'm excited to hear how this sounds. Went ahead and split these. This will be for my ground wire, and this will be my fuse tap that I'll plug into the fuse box here. I'll show you which fuse I use later. And then I've got my OBD splitter plugged in, which I'll tuck away, and now it's just mounting the boxes. So I'm going to try and find a spot for those right now, and then I'll show you what I come up with. So I've got all the trim pieces back on. I ended up tucking that box way up in the dash. It's hard to see, but it's way up by the fuse panel in behind. And not the smart box, but the other controller box, there's room underneath the carpet right here. There's like a little void. So I tucked that in there, and then I plugged the fuse. And then the fuse that I ended up using, you can see, is on the left side, one up from the bottom. So it's an accessory fuse, and it was a 10 amp, I believe. So I ended up putting the 10 amp splitter into there. That's it for the install. Again, massive shout out to XForce. Thank you for sending out the exhaust. I'm excited to hear it. So we're gonna start it up, and we will put some sound clips of it open and closed.
This is closed. Now open. So this is closed. Okay. Now switching to open.
The valves are awesome. Like, it's nice to have that ability to close it. We live in a complex, so starting the car when it's quiet is kind of nice. Definitely is a lot quieter. I'm gonna miss the loud car, but we'll see how it is like on the highway when I actually open it up. It does sound good though, so I'm excited to see. And if you guys want, maybe in a month or so, I'll do a review on it and we'll see how I feel about it then. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.